Hello everyone, Joy here as a mime, and today I want to talk about something that happened this weekend. So, right, Taunton Library had its very first LGBT History Month event called Outing the Past in Taunton. It's like a mini festival type thing. They had stands for some history displays. They had various stalls and activities. They had various talks going on, and they also had a drag queen story time for the children's section. So I want to talk about that. The whole festival and what happened. So to start with, I donated the use of my flags to sort of liven the place up a bit, because I was feeling for ages like I don't know what to do, but I want to do something, and that was the thing that I was able to do. And other than that, I just sort of went along just to learn about the LGBT history stuff and to, just have a great day, really, just to find out what was going on. So, just to learn about the things and to socialise. So, I only saw a little bit of the drag queen story time. There was in fact a drag queen and a drag king, which was rather nice to see, you know, both being included. And there was a story about a dog who really felt like a frog on the inside, the dog who was really a frog. And it was about, the other dogs being mean to this dog, but despite the fact that they all had various characteristics and differences, and the main theme was acceptance, but it was still like really, really child friendly. Um, and it was really, really great. I thought I thought it was great. I didn't see the whole thing, I just saw that one story. Um, so I do need to mention that they received a few complaints beforehand because, people can't just let others be. But they went ahead with it anyway, and it turned out to be a really great success. Um, and, if any sort of events happen like that in the future, then it will be better for them because it's already happened and they've already pushed past the initial negative reaction. Speaking of negative reactions, there was also one of those street preachers outside with a megaphone and a big poster, and he was spouting stuff about Jesus this and God that and blah blah blah. And I'm pretty sure if you've already seen a couple of my other videos, you might already know my opinions about religion, but I will just keep this brief. If he really wanted to find out what was going on inside rather than just assuming what was going on inside, which was the real kind of insult there, then he could have quite easily been happily welcomed to shut up, turn the megaphone off, come inside and actually listen to what we would have to say and the people at the stalls would have to say. And he could have even had a nice hot cup of tea on a really cold day. But, some people are silly and they don't listen to sense. And I was tempted to go out there and sort of tell him that, but I was kind of too busy indoors having a nice time. So, his loss. But anyway, that was the only negative kind of thing that happened. Everything else was really, really positive. So I'll talk about the stalls. There were a few sort of groups promoting their availability and their message. There was 2BU, the local youth LGBT support group. There was the Beaumont Society, which is a trans support group that's countrywide. There was, Mind supporting all people. There was, of course, Taunton Gay Group was there, who were the people that I sort of knew the best. But I knew a lot of people from all of these stalls. The local LGBT sort of movers and shakers, if you will. um, and you know, I went to see quite a few of the talks as well. Now they were very interesting. My favourite, I think, you know, I would have to say that my favourite one was the one about the Spartans. Now it turns out that the Spartans were hella gay. I'm talking, you know, ancient Greece, Spartans, 300, King Leonidas, this is Sparta! Boo. That Sparta, big, ripply, muscled men, turns out gay for each other. And the women were also quite friendly towards each other as well, in terms of, you know, being encouraged to have lesbian kind of relationships. Now, it was, what with it being ancient Greece, you might not be too surprised by the pederasty, but you might be more surprised that it was in one of the martial warrior societies rather than in Athens, where they had more of an academic kind of society. But yes, the men, you know, the boys, when they reached a certain age, they would be mentored by an older man, and they would eventually have a relationship that would be considered, you know, something like mentor pupil, but also as lovers. Women's rights were also far more advanced than the rest of ancient Greece. Women could own land, women could walk around, you know, baring their thighs. Women could do exercise naked, and they could own property. They were on more of an equal footing, not completely equal footing, but still more of an equal footing with men. But the society also wanted men and women to copulate, to breed, to produce more warriors. So, you know, the idea would be to foster camaraderie between, you know, men and women and women, but also you had this situation where it was a city-sanctioned bisexuality, which, yes, of course, from today's filter would still be considered problematic because it was forced and there was no choice or autonomy with a person choosing X type of partner or Y type of partner. But it was still really fascinating to find out about. Also, I saw talk about some people being trans in the RAF and the armed forces. And the person presenting was actually, you know, did serve in the RAF. And she gave this presentation about how it's been since like the Second World War, and how she was there affecting change on the legal side of, you know, how to not discriminate, how to have rules that don't discriminate, at the turn of the 20th, 21st century. And there was also another story about another woman who currently still does serve. So you had this, you know, stories of these three amazing women who not only served but also transitioned, either before, during, or after they served. So that was really, it was just really, really great to, because I then got a chance afterwards to talk to them, and, well, not the one who was in Second World War, she obviously not around anymore, but to get a chance to talk to the other two was really, really great. I then had a bit of a chill out in the well-being zone with some of the 2BU people, and they were making these, the little well-being dodecahedrons. I've put little, you know, we were encouraged to just put little affirmations or little suggestions on things of how to, you know, make yourself feel better. And it was basically just a nice way to sort of de-stress, chill out, you know, have a bit of a rest from all of this, like, information. It was great information, but it still, you know, needed a bit of rest, and just a little bit of a practical kind of thing that didn't really take up much time, but it is, I've now got this like weird sort of dodecahedron thing that's rather funky. And finally there was the play, like an excerpt of a play about a scandal for, you know, gay people in Wales, that happened in the 60s or earlier. I arrived a bit late. But yeah, I found out about this person who'd been in, had a court case sort of thing, and was charged with being homosexual, charged with having, just consensual adult homosexual sex. And that was his only crime. And he was given two choices: prison or what we would call reparative therapy, treatment. And he chose that treatment, and then he ended up dying 2 days later. So the play was trying to tell that story from not his perspective, but his family's perspective. Okay, so what happened was that the investigation was then covered up. The court records still have not been released, and this happened to not only one person but lots of people around about the same time. And this all happened in Wales, which is why it's so relevant to the Taunton and Somerset sort of area, is because it happened in Somerset. It is part of Somerset's history. And the basic sort of question here is, who are they trying to protect? Are they trying to protect the family? Are they trying to protect, cover up the homosexuality? Or are they trying to cover up the court's own law's misdeeds on how they handled this case? But anyway, that was the festival from my sort of perspective, and how, what happened to me, and also to Taunton and the library this weekend. And at the end of it, they were so surprised that it was so successful, but, happily surprised that it was so successful, that there was even talk of doing another one next year, and hopefully there will be one, because, LGBT History Month happens every February, so why not? And we had no kind of major issues, no major problems. A few people were a bit negative about it, but they didn't cause trouble for the event, which was great. And then afterwards, I had my usual Out in Taunton meetup, as I usually do every first Saturday of the month. And someone from that event turned up, and we had a few games, had a little bit of a chat, talk about just stuff, and then just chilled out. But yeah, that was my Saturday, and if anybody wants to, if anybody can, is in the area, wants to come along to future meetups for Out in Taunton, I will leave description information below, and I will hopefully see you soon. Anyway, I really have to go, so take care, bye.